Hi everyone, welcome back to XBrainStudio. So today we are kicking off something exciting. We are starting our voucher ticket design. This design is connected to the health poster we created in the last tutorials. And now we are moving it a step further to create the matching voucher tickets. So if you follow the health poster series, this is the perfect continuation. Let's jump into Photoshop and start designing our voucher from scratch.
Alright, welcome back everyone. In our previous tutorials, we created a clean and a professional health awareness poster design from scratch in Photoshop. Now, as I mentioned that at the end of the part 2, we will take things a step further by designing a voucher ticket that matches the same health poster design that we created. This design will help you learn how to blend creativity with layout balance. Since voucher tickets usually comes with both and front back section. So in this session, we will be focusing on setting up our artboard, laying out the structure, and starting the front side of the voucher design. So let's jump right and get started in Photoshop. So I'll go ahead and create a new project. And this is going to be, I'll name it voucher design. Okay, let's name it voucher tickets. A ticket design. And then we are going to change the pixels to inches. We are using inches because normally the voucher tickets, it's a printout design. But we can also maintain the pixels if you want to use it for social media purpose. But on the other way, you can also use the inches, but still you can maintain the quality for social media purpose. So let's use the inches. And then we are going to set our width to 7 inches, and then the height will be 3 inches. And then the resolution, we will set the resolution to 300. And this time around, we are not using the CMYK color. We are going to use the RGB because I want this for social media purpose. But if you want to use it for printing purpose, you switch it to the CMYK color. So we will use the RGB color mode for now. So after setting all these preset details, go ahead and create. So this is the artboard that we have now. And because we are actually focusing on the front and back design, we will have to create the artboard. So in this case, let me show you how to create an artboard. So go to your layer and then right click on the background. Okay, so let's do this first. We need to create a background. This is the default background, which is already logged over here. So you can't edit this background. This is the default. It's already logged. So all you do is that we'll just create a new layer by clicking on the plus icon over here. And then we are going to name this to be our background. So we can use the short form, which is a BG. And then on this background, just click on it, the right click on it, and then look for artboard form layer at the top here. And then name this one to be front design. Yes. Alright, so we have our first artboard, which is the front design. Now, what we need to do now is let's duplicate this form so we don't go ahead and repeat the same session again or designing this artboard again. So doing that, just tap on the front design, which is the first artboard you've seen over here, and then hit Ctrl J. This is going to duplicate the artboard for you. So what you need to do now is just to rename it so you don't confuse yourself when you're designing. So come to your layer section and double click on it, and then I'll change it to back design so you can easily identify them when we jump on the back design. So now you can see we have two sections over here. We have the front and then we have the back here. So what we'll do is we are focusing on the front design. So just go ahead and switch off the back design layer. So click on this arrow section over here, and this is going to merge all the layers that you just duplicated from the first one, and then hit on the I column. Now, because we'll be designing and our design will look somehow complex, we might pick some layers into the back design. So we don't want to interfere with the back design. What we'll do now is let's lock this layer. So as I've selected the back design, click on the padlock you see over here. This is the lock design, and it's going to put a lock on this layer. So in this case, there is nothing you can do to open this or to interfere with this design that you've seen over here or this layer, so that we can now focus on the front layer. When we are done, we can now switch on the eye and then we start designing the back design. All right, so now let's start to design on the front side. So we will create another shape. And the previous one, I showed you how to create the first shape using the pen tool. So you're going to do the same thing. So just on the front design, click on the front layer and then hit on the background and create another layer on top of the background. Then move to your pen tool. So we want to create a slided rectangular shape. So I'll hit my point over here and then move to not on the same line, but I will slant it a bit and then hit this section. And then I'm going to join my lines to create my shape. And then I hit on the shape to give me my color. But we shouldn't forget, we should always make sure we use our rule. And it's always 0.5. And this is going to guide us so our design don't move out of our save area. Okay, so now we have one of our shape here. We are going to name it okay, it's already named shape 1. So let's duplicate this by click on the shape and then hit Ctrl J. And then now move to the second layer. You know, the first layer says shape 1 copied. So now the second layer. So this becomes the first layer. Sorry, the shape 1 is the first layer and this becomes the second layer. So now let's rename it so we don't confuse ourselves. So let's rename the one that says shape 1 copy and let's make it shape 2. So with the shape 1, let's push it a bit from the other one and then let's change the color so we can easily identify it. So we know the shape 1 is the red color and then the shape 2 is the black. But before that, let's create another shape, which is a triangular shape over here. So what I will do is I want to open the design so that we can follow and do the same thing. But let's finalize this and then we'll get back to the design so you can make reference to it and then do the same thing. So let's create another shape over here. So create a new layer and then go for your rectangular tool. So draw a rectangular shape like this. And then let's change the color to something like blue. Don't worry about the color, we will get the exact color when we make reference to the old design. So now what we have to do now, let's give a style to the edges. So move to your properties section and then turn off this. And now let's give a shape to this side. Let's give some kind of a rounded shape around this side. So let's make it 85. 85 is okay. And then the width for this, let's make it 100 pixels. So you can see the transformation. I'm changing some figures here. So do the same thing, make it 100. And this is okay. So increase it a bit. All right. So what we need to do now is the triangular shape that I spoke about. So to do that, let's create another shape, another layer from the triangle shape that I just spoke about. So click on the plus icon over here, and then now to your shape 2, click on the triangular shape over here, and then hold shift and click and drag. And this is going to give you an accurate triangular shape. So get it closer to this section. Now we have issue here. I think the gap over here is not supposed to be the same. All right, so now this is the previous design. This is what we are looking at. This one. So the front design is what we are designing. So when you look at the front design, you know, this triangle meets the shape that it's already here. But with what we just designed, it seems there is a gap over here. We need to close this gap. So what we need to do now is let's adjust the shape that we just created so that we can close the gap over here. So the design looks same as this. So doing that, let's go to our layer and select the shapes that we created, which is the shape 1 and the shape 2. So hold Ctrl and then select the 2 shape, and now hold Ctrl T, and this will select the shape. So watch carefully what I'm about to do and do the same thing. Hold Ctrl, and now at the corner side over here, this shape over here, click and then shift it. Try and pull it so it closes the gap over here. Okay. All right. So this looks perfect. So let's check from the previous design. Let's see if it matches the same thing. So now you see there is no shape or there is no space over here. That is the same thing we just created now. We will have to create an image over here, which is the flipping marks over here. So I'll go to my folder. And then you already have these images. So I share this image with you guys so you can use them. So now create the clipping marks by right clicking on the image and then select create clipping marks. Oh, sorry, I think this went into the triangle. So go to your layer and then put this on the second layer. I think this is supposed to be on the second layer, and then you can create your flipping marks. But we want the image to move to the other side, which is the opposite side. So let's try and then transform it. So we are going to use, did you see what I did? So let me go back and then do the same thing again so that you can learn it. So you can use this side also, which is the edits, and then move to the transform and then flip horizontal. This is going to turn the image to the other side. So this is how I wanted it, and it's the same thing as seen over here. So you can position your image well, and then now let's change this color to yellow, which is the shape 1. And then let's change the triangle shape to a darker blue, and that is going to be our price tag. So from the previous one, the health fire poster, we used a circle. Now this time around, we are using the triangle shape for the price tag. So let's go back to the previous design. So now this is what we created. We need to create this shape over here. There's one shape moving downwards, and there's another one also moving this way. So let's create this one and change the color. So let's create that shape. So I will go ahead and duplicate the yellow shape, which is a shape 1 again, the 3rd time. So just Ctrl J is going to duplicate it, and then you name that shape to shape 3. On the layer it says 1, 3, and 2. So just try and then move it a bit, and then let's change the color to a darker blue. So you can just pick this color, but let's adjust it a bit so you can differentiate between them. So this one is okay. And now it seems our yellow is missing. So go to your layer and then bring the shape 3 under the shape 1. And this is going to show the yellow shape that we created. So now we have its shape 2, 1, and 3. So all we need to do is we'll create this. We'll create another one again, but this time around we are going to use the triangular shape. So we are going to duplicate the triangle shape. So click on the triangle and then hit Ctrl J. And now name this to be triangular 2. So the first triangle, which is the triangular 1, we are going to shift it a bit, and then we'll change the color to this blue. So you could see there is a difference between the first triangle and also the second triangle that we just created over here. Let's add some more design, some stylish, so it makes it look more attractive. So we are going to use the shadow to do that. So click on the first triangle over here, which is the triangle 2, and then move to your FX over here, and then select drop shadow. And now change the color. If yours is already black, you can leave it as it is. I have been working on several projects, so I keep changing my colors based on the background. So when you set your color, set the opacity to 46 and then the distance to 13. Let me think. Okay, so I think something like this is okay. Okay, this is okay. Okay, so now set your opacity to 52, the distance 24, and then the spread to be 57, and then the size be 46. So you can also play along with your own preference and then do the same thing. So when you are done, just click on OK. Now the shadow is reflecting on the other image that we just created here, so you could see over here. So what we need to do is, let's bring this shape that we created on top of the triangle so we don't see the shadow reflecting over here. So since this is the one starting, the triangle 2 is what we see on the first layer on the front design. So click and then drag it, bring it to under the shape 2. Now, so it's going to be under the shape 3. Okay, shape 3 is okay. And I'll go for the triangle 1, bring it to under the triangle like so. We have 2 and 1 under the shape 1. So now we don't see the shadow again because this triangle is now under these two shapes. So this is okay. All right, so now let's give the yellow shape also a shadow by using the FX and then drop the shadow. And this is going to give a default shadow, but this is too much. So I'll go ahead and adjust it. Okay. So I think this one is okay. So let me adjust my triangle to the background color a bit so I can see my shadow reflecting. So now let's focus on this shape. So let's change the color. Let's look at the previous design and see if we are making progress. All right, so we need to do a little bit, adjust to the triangle color. It looks different from what we just designed. But before that, let's focus on this. Let's change this and then let's create a background for this session. All right. And change the color to something like this. So you can copy my color code. So you just use it. It's going to give you the same color. Now for this layer, you need to change the color to blue. We are going to use the vectors again, the dot vectors. Let's take something like this. But we can't see this, so I will adjust to make it a bit deeper. But when we start to design the background, it will expose the shape that we created over here. So let's create a shadow for the rectangular shape over here. Just press OK. We will need to create a shape for the logo. So move your arrow to the first layer you see on top of your front design and create another new layer. And now select the rectangular tool. Then customize your own rectangular shape. And change the color to white. So it's like the previous poster design, how we created the logo shape. We're going to use the same thing here. And then let's create some rounded border or shape or style around this shape that we just created. So note that this section is already turned off. So whatever changes I do over here, it doesn't affect the other shape or the other pointed shape. So you can click and drag and then it's going to do. So I will make it 90 and then I'll go ahead and create a shadow to make it visible. Okay, so you can set your opacity to 24 and distance 6, speed 8, and then the size 8. So that is going to be our logo container where we are going to put our logo. So rename the shape to logo. So for the background, I will go for my dot vector. And I will change the color to make it something more visible. Okay, so now let's check the previous design. So we need to create this shadow. So on top of this, the dot pattern that I just placed on top. So you click on the dot pattern and then it will highlight over here and then create a layer on top of it. And then use your ellipse tool. So hold shift, click and drag. It's going to create a circular shape for you. And then change the color to something like this. More lighter, but not too. Okay. Now, we want to feed this shape. So move to your property and then click on the max layer and then adjust your feather. So what we need to do now is let's scale this shape by hitting Ctrl T to give more brightening. And then duplicate this ellipse by hitting Ctrl J and then move the second one to this section and then change the color to okay, so let's pick this blue. Let's reduce the opacity of the dot pattern so that doesn't make the background looks unprofessional. So set your opacity for the dog pattern to 45. Now let's adjust this color. So this is okay. This color is okay. Now let's check the previous design. So now what we want to do is we need to write this information here, the platinum, and then also the get voucher, this information that we created from the previous health poster flyer. So we are going to use the same font, the same arrangement, and then we will fix them over here. So what I will do is I will open the previous design that we created, which is the flyer, so that I can just copy and paste the content. Okay, so this is the information. So what I will do is first I will highlight the gifts, and then I'll hold my shift and click on the voucher, so it selects the voucher, and then whilst I'm holding the shift, I'll click on the shape over here and also click on the text over here. And when I'm done, I'll release my hand from the shift and then hold Ctrl plus C, and this is going to copy the information over here. So I'll move back to my voucher ticket design and then I'll paste it. Alright guys, so that's where we will pause for now. We have successfully set up our layer and worked on the front side of our voucher tickets. Though it's not completed, from the pasting of the text, we will get back on it and then refix it. So in the next part of these tutorials, we will complete the front by adding all the finishing touches to make it print ready. So now what we need to do is we have to save this project in PSD format so that we can continue easily in the next video that I'll be releasing. So let me walk you through how to save this. It's so easy. So move to your file and then locate your save as, and it's already noted, so you can customize it. So probably I'll save it Voucher Ticket Design Tutorials. I have already saved it, but just walking you through so that you can also save the same thing, so that on my next tutorials you can just open the save as file that you just saved and then we continue from where we ended. So when you are done, just give the location. If it's a desktop, you're going to put it on the desktop and then click on the save, and this is going to save your work. If you are following along, remember to like the video, share it with your design friends, and subscribe so you don't miss part 2 of these tutorials, where we will be completing this beautiful voucher ticket together. Let's keep designing and growing together.
And that is it for today. We started building our voucher tickets and setting up the layer for the front design. In the next tutorial, which is the part 2, we will complete the front design and add all the finishing details. So make sure you like, share, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. This is going to be super creative.